So I just wanted to chat a little bit before we get into posture. It's officially been a week since I've been doing these live stream classes. I don't even know how a week went by. Like, what the hell? Shit got real cray in the last week. But the silver lining of it all is that it's been just so lovely to connect with all of you online and still continue to practice together and do the yoga and just be together and breathe and know that everything's okay here on our mats. And there was this really lovely quote that I wanted to share that my friend and student Carrie shared on my wall. I'm going to read it to you. We are going to start on our back, by the way, so you can head into your favorite spot there, lying on your back. As I scroll down my feed, going past all my live videos for a week worth, to find this beautiful quote that I want to share with you to start our yin practice today. So, one week in, be aware that much of the anxiety that will come in the next few weeks will stem from being confronted by how deeply entrenched we are in the culture and economics of productivity, hyperactivity, extroversion, work, speed, volume, expansion, accumulation, yang. In its way, this quarantine is the thing that I am always calling for. Yin, radical softness, stillness, contraction, and quiescence. At this point, most of us can do yin for a short period of time, so long as it doesn't subtract from our bottom line and we get to control when it ends. In this case, neither will be true. So thank you, Carrie, for sharing that on my wall. I know you just know me and know I would appreciate that. So here we are in the yin. Oh my God, I know, right? And we don't have control and we can't do anything. So really it's just a beautiful lesson in surrender and embracing this time to really actually make the best of it. So I hope that you can make the best of this practice with me. Like I said, we're going to start on our back. So you're really welcome to be any way you like to be. Having all the props. I'm going to apologize beforehand for my kitty, who's probably going to come put herself in the frame on the mat. Okay. So, always try to provide you with some options, and then ultimately you can just choose which one works for you best in each of the postures that we do. So as you make your way onto your back, find that place where your body wants to naturally land, into stillness, or into contraction, into the yin. Nothing to expand into, but rather a radical softening inward. So allow yourself to take up space, tune in with your breathing. Just knowing that right now in this moment, it's not about your productivity. It's not about your consumption. It's not about your doing, your achieving. It's just about being here in the moment. It's softening with every breath. Let the floor, let the props literally hold you up. Give your muscles a break. Get your body's energy flowing optimally. So feel your big belly inhales. All the way to the top of the chest and the back of the throat. And follow the breath as it exits all the way out and down to that empty, contracted yin space at the bottom. All is still. Now that you've settled a bit into your body and your breath, notice the contents of your mind. Perhaps you're trying to control that too. Rather, just observe. Soften. Even just that radical softening of the third eye center, I find at least, can sometimes help me let go of any gripping thoughts. If I'm just projecting too far into the future, softening that space between the eyebrows. Just help remind you to retreat into the back of your mind. You can be a little more integrated with your breath and that steady center of yourself. Knowing that everything in life, as in nature, goes in cycles and waves. And this too shall pass, so while we're here, let's really embrace where we're at and take care. Let's see what's on this very valuable side of the yin yang. The half of the whole. And just notice where any residual tension lies, or where tension likes to creep back up in, perhaps. We have all these kind of like automatic areas of the body that subconsciously will tense and grip. So bring your awareness to your whole body. And just take a few more breaths here on your back to soften, to be heavy, to breathe fully. And then take your time to really slowly come off of any props. So you're just going to be really nice and neutral on your back, such as in a repose. We're going to start our practice with banana asana, banana posture. So starting with your legs long, take them up and over to one side. And you can work your legs parallel. You can also play with stacking one of your ankles, one of your feet on top. And just see which one feels better. Or you can just sort of naturally relax and be heavy. I tend to like to cross the outside one over. It just really depends on the individual. And then you can press your elbows into your mat at the sides of your ribs and start to move your upper body into that curved banana shape. And you can keep your hands low, or you can take your arms up and over. You can find a passive bind there. So if you're going off to the left, your left hand would hold your right wrist. And again, feel free to explore and get curious as you're in the pose. Any adjustments you need to make along the way, it's worth it if it means you'll be more comfortable and you can get more present and meditative in the posture. So if your banana posture is curving off to the left side, just feeling this nice passive stretch in your right side body. Also on the front of the right hip. So notice how you really opened up that right lungs. You can really fill it up with your breath. And that tension stretch, and on the opposite side, more compression. Oopsie. I told you she was going to put herself right in the middle. Yoga with pets, it's so fun. You're also welcome to play with the angle of your neck and your head. Maybe straight up, a little more neutral, or tilt it off to the side to release the neck. Take a few more deep breaths into Banana Asana. And when you come out, find center. So that's that neutral repose. So it's not the counter stretch, it's not the opposite side. It's You want to let yourself hang in the center before you switch. When you feel ready, make your way into the other side. Just like a banana. Make any adjustments that you might need on this side. Mainly meaning, honor any differences and variation that your body's calling for this afternoon from one side to the next. Just stay present by scanning the body and notice where you might be gripping or holding any tension that you can perchance release. Especially with your exhale. Remember, that's the yin part of the breath, all the way at the bottom. Empty, really drawn in. And take a few more really nice deep breaths into that left lung on the side that you're feeling your tension stretch. Feel the compressive action on the opposite side body. Whenever you're ready to come out, find the center, neutral. Repose. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. Just let it be intuitive. Letting your feelings, your senses really guide you throughout this whole yin practice. It's a very inner experience. Allow yourself to tune into the subtler energies inside. Vibrations, any buzzing, any currents. And then take your time to flip over onto your belly. So we'll go right into broken wing pose. From your belly, send your right arm out to the side from your shoulder. So I'm even scooching myself in a little more here. Palm of the hand downward. Keep the front of your right shoulder grounded to the earth. And then prop yourself up on your left fingertips on the other side so you can roll yourself over, and then the left side will be more stacked on top of the right. And if you're feeling that this is too much tension in the neck, you can use a block or a blanket or a little pillow to give you some proppage and support there. And then lots of options. You can stay here. You can bend your top knee and bring that foot back behind you. Get a little more twist into the pelvis. And then this free available top hand you have can come behind you in a half bind. You can reach for the top of your left foot. So this is broken wing. Take your time to slowly come out of that side. And then just rest prone on your belly. Take crocodile with your forehead on your hands, or rest a cheek. Just again, come to that neutral repose. When that feels sufficient for you, other side, broken wing. Send your left arm out. Use your right fingertips to roll you on over. So again, any variation you like, including that extra bit of twist when you bring your top foot back. You can really focus it into both shoulders. You work into a half bind. A little more into that top hip, front of the thigh. If you reach for your back foot. And just notice if you're over efforting at all. Just remind yourself to deepen into the breath. Soften any edges, any efforting, any yang. And breathe directly into your heart center. Just keep noticing the rise and fall of breath and sensation and thoughts. So anytime you notice you're being pulled out of the experience in your body on the mat into some recess of your mind, just try to breathe and come back to this moment, this posture, this broken wing. We've all been spending a lot of time on our devices this week. So this posture might be feeling a little extra sticky. A few more breaths, slow, steady, smooth and fluid. When you're ready to come out, inhale back to your prone position. Stay the rested cheek or do your crocodile posture with your other hand on top. Just really let your feet and your legs fall into their natural orientation when you're relaxed here on your belly. Breathe your belly into the mat. The breath fill out the lower back, the sides of the ribs, the heart. Bend your knees so you can windshield viper your legs a few times, side to side. And then stretch your legs back long. Bring your hands to the sides of your chest, mid-ribs. Give them a little bit of width out to the edges of the mat. Root your feet in your legs. Draw your tail back towards your heels and a bit downward into the earth. You are tapping into some strength here to find a little bit of yang just to help us flush and balance the practice out in a cobra. So you can see I'm already kind of in it, like a low baby cobra. You can work that. We can use a little more effort to extend forward and come up, using your hands to plug down and drag back. So you just use that fire of the yang to kind of burn up into ashes and then sweep away with the breath whatever is ready to be really released, especially after those long static yin holds. So a couple more deep breaths. And then very slowly lower. And then take your time to press onto a tabletop. Hands and knees. Take some easy cycles of cat and cow, pulsing with the breath. You can let these be as free form as you like. And come into knees wide child's pose. Bring the big toes together so you can really soften the fronts of the ankles into the mat. If you have a bolster, feel free to use that between your inner thighs. So you're going to lay your whole front body and a cheek down. If it feels like too much pressure in the knees, you can always use a blanket behind your knees. So you just get a little bit of space there, not such a deep flexion. Other options here for support. For instance, if you have blocks, you could put a block underneath your chest, under your forehead. Or you can also keep it as simple as you like. And if you have one cheek down, go ahead and switch to the other side. All right, slowly come on up out of child's pose. It's really amazing to just witness the silence. It's just so quiet everywhere. Such a lovely contrast to our usual situation. All right, so you can always stay a little longer in child's pose if that's working really well for you right now. Otherwise, we're going to tap into a bit more activity again and find your way to your downward facing dog. Just going to check on the time, friends. Cool. So it's nice and soft through your knees, and a little micro bend through the elbows as well. Plug through those four corners of your palms. The ball mounds the feet. And take one leg up, three-legged dog. You can also rock this from a tabletop, your left knee down. And bend the knee and roll the hip open. And switch legs. Three-legged dog. Or you can do it from your tabletop. And bend the knee and roll the hip open. Now bring that lifted knee you have there all the way through and down. To come to swan posture. So your knee is bent in front of you. Your back leg is extended behind you. There are really quite a lot of ways to prop this. So I'm just going to show you my favorite way to do it. And then you can do anything you like, which is the beauty of a home practice. So a blanket underneath the left hip, base of the pelvis. And then it's perfectly fine to really feel more of your weight leaning into that front leg hip side. It's also perfectly fine to bend your back knee a little bit out to the side. And you can fold forward from here, either using your blocks or set yourself up with a bolster. I like to put it diagonally, kind of along my front shin, and then fold on it like that. And then your arms can reach forward. You can also just simply have your arms resting where it's comfortable. And you can also always prop up your bolster with some blocks if you just want a little bit more height. So we're going to breathe here in swan for a good few minutes. Just notice how that first minute is a bit restless at times. I know my first minute's been restless, so forgive yourself for that if it's your case. It's all good. Just takes a minute sometimes. And continue to consciously let go. Soften into the stretch. Hip, lower back, and the inner thigh, outer hamstrings. And we're targeting the fascia, the connective tissue around those muscles more so. Soften the ankles and the feet. And you're just trying to find that space where you can naturally rest. And you'll take your time to slowly come up. And then turn yourself so you'll have that same knee bent to the side, but you're in a half butterfly position. So the sole of that foot comes to the opposite inner thigh. And then it's fine to have it out on a little bit of an angle. We can have it more straight ahead of you. And really up to you what you want to feel there. Because we'll bend forward from here. So you can take your bolster or your blocks. And also your hips can still be elevated here too. I just put the blanket underneath my pelvis to give me a little bit of a boost. And just notice where there's any resistance presenting in your body. And you can let go and soften. Which means, don't have to hold to any rigid alignment rules. It's okay if your hips aren't squared. Just be wherever you've got to be to hold this for another couple minutes. Half butterfly, forward bend. And take a few more breaths here in half butterfly. And when you slowly start to come up, just make your way from there into a seated position. So this will be our repose for the other side. So root the base of your pelvis down. And propped right on top of your sits bones. Like two long columns or pillars drawing you up. Through the center of the palate and out the top of the head. And just compare the feeling that you have here between your left and your right hip. And seeing which one has more space, which one feels more constricted. And then feel the back of your right leg compared to your left. Do you notice any more currency, energy on either side? And if you want from here, you can come back in from your downward dog Or you can just take yourself there from tabletop or any other way you want to get in to come into swan pose on the other side. That should be the right leg coming forward, or whichever is your other side. You can really adapt this to meet your needs today. You don't have to hold fast to any rigid rules or alignment concepts. It's really just more about being comfortable in your body and just being in this general archetype of a swan. So you can get that good release in your hip, your lower back, your inner thigh, the outside of the back of the thigh. Prop design, up to you. You can notice just what's settled after a minute or so. Now you can really surrender. Let's take a few more good deep breaths here in swan pose. See if there are any other layers you can dive into. And if you feel like I do and you could just stay there for forever, please don't rush out. Just for the interest of time, you take it into the half butterfly. So have that same knee bent. And then your opposite leg extended forward. It can be out a little bit to the side. For instance, if you're pregnant, perhaps you definitely want to give yourself a little bit of space for the forward bend. Prop it up. And fold forward. Sorry, Instagram, I lost you for a second. Facebook doing good? Yeah. So let's just take maybe another minute here in the half butterfly. Sorry, Instagram peeps. Hope I didn't leave you hanging there for too long. We're just gonna do another minute or so in half butterfly. And then whenever you feel ready to come out of it, take your time and come to that seated position. Having your opposite foot in front. If you're cross-legged, your opposite shin in front. Or any other seat that serves you. You'll sense the balance that you feel through both hips, both legs, and through your whole spine, the sides of your body. And the edges of your mind. Notice how the yin practice connects you to your own yin energy, all the yin qualities that you possess. This ability to get quiet, to get more still, to receive, to nurture, to go into darkness, to lean in, to respond. And before we come into our last pose or two for the session today, just join your hands together at your heart space. Any intention you want to take with you into your final resting pose, or any dedication you'd like to make, do so now. Just reflecting on this week that just happened. How do you want to integrate the lessons of that past into a more informed future? In our new normal, may we find as much grace and ease, yin, as possible. Just a couple more breaths to wrap that up. I'm going to open up the space for you to basically finish off with your own individual choice of pose or movement or stretch. Since every body is a bit different, it's good for you, just for yourself and your personal practice, take a couple minutes to address anything we maybe didn't address together here. And then start to work that into your final resting pose. And if you want to be guided to where I'm going to go for the next few minutes, you can just follow along. And then I will leave you guys in Shavasana to really enjoy it and soak it up for a good 10 minutes or so, however long you can. So I'm going to finish in legs up the wall. If you have a wall available, I'm going to come all the way up to it. And if you don't have a wall available, you could also just do this on your mat with a block or two underneath your hips, like in a supported bridge, and then just send your legs up that way into the air over your hips. And even if you're coming to the wall, you can still incorporate your block. So you come all the way up at the side of your hip, and then you lay back, swiveling your legs up. And then press your heels into the wall if you want to incorporate the block here underneath the sacrum. So same idea as you would have it in your supported bridge or supported inversion. Which you can also just be sacrum to the floor. But bones can be flush with the wall, or you can have a little bit of space. And if you have a strap, and if you're like me, a little on the flexible side, it can be nice to strap yourself in just so you feel really held together and supported. Or of course, you can also take this to a bound angle or both legs out wide like a V. If you're using that strap, have it about hips width. And again, you're just fully allowed to notice how it feels. Does it feel good? If it's not feeling that great, maybe adapt it so that it can work for you. So I was just feeling into my own body and felt that I didn't want the block. So it's about 5:11. I'm going to go ahead and leave you there to just enjoy. If you are at legs of the wall and you want to come just to lie flat on your back or add in a bolster underneath your knees or underneath your spine, you can finish there. Thank you so much for joining.